Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another card video. Today I'm going to be creating a card using the Spreading Sunshine stamp set from Paper Smooches. This is a brand new stamp set that just came out a few days ago, and it has such cute greetings on it I couldn't resist creating a card with it. I'm going to be using the A2 card curved edge die from Simon Says Stamp to create a curved line on the bottom of this cardstock. The cardstock I'm using is Neenah Solar White, and it's the 80-pound weight. And it's cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I'm going to be cutting off the bottom. And because I want that curved edge to be just the perfect position, I'm using a pencil to make 2 little tick marks on the side of the cardstock. Then as I add it to my Big Shot machine, I can put that die directly on top of those pencil lines and line it up so that everything is measured just perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and run this through my Big Shot machine, and then I have a curved line at the bottom of my cardstock. While I have this die out, I also cut a narrow strip of black cardstock. So first I cut it using just the curved edge die, and then I run it through again with that die moved down just a little bit, and that created a little narrow strip that I can use later. So you see that greeting stamp in the bottom corner of the screen? You'll notice that all of those words are one big block of text. And I wanted to use some pigment inks on this, and I wanted to have 2 different colors of ink for the words. And you could do this with some creative masking of the stamp, but I thought it would just be so much more simple to cut the stamp apart, to do a little bit of stamp surgery, so that I only have the pieces that I want for each color of ink. So I'm going to put these back together here for a minute just so I can get the positioning just right. And I will take a pencil and make a mark for where the top portion of that word smile will be, and that's just going to help me as I stamp. So the first color of ink I'm using is Mermaid ink from Avery Elle. This is a pigment ink. It's a really pretty greenish teal color. Just inking that stamp up, and then I'm going to line it up with that pencil mark that I created earlier, and I'll stamp down, and then now I have the smile and face in the perfect place on this cardstock. Then I mounted the smaller stamps, the smaller words on my stamp press, inked that up with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then stamped around those green words. So now I have a 2-color greeting, and I did that by cutting apart those stamps. And I can always mount them back together if I wanted to stamp it all together. I'm now using some Mimosa pigment ink from Avery Elle, taking that solid circle stamp from the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp a bunch of circles. These are eventually going to be smiley faces, so I'm just nestling them in next to each other. I'm not doing any particular pattern. I just want to cover the entire area around the greeting with these circle dots. So I'm just going to go all the way around and keep stamping until I've filled in that entire white area. And any of the portions that I've stamped off onto my mat here, it's just pigment ink, so I can clean that up later with a baby wipe, and there's no problem with stamping off the edge. So after I had all of those circles stamped, I came in with some mustard seed ink, also from Avery Elle. This is another pigment ink. And I'm stamping the smiley faces in each of the circles. And after I stamp one, I'm rotating the stamp and I'm getting some different angles for all of these smiley faces. To me, they almost look like yellow ping pong balls, and they've been thrown up in the air and they're all in different directions or something like that. It just looks super fun to me. So I stamped all of the smiley faces, and it goes right along with that greeting. So the card base I'm using today is actually some Neenah Desert Storm, and I'm scoring that at 5 1/2 and then folding it in half. And eventually I'm going to cover up this color of cardstock, so I really could have just done a white piece of cardstock, but I wasn't thinking, and I anticipate that I wouldn't like the craft colored cardstock. So first I traced that curved line on the front of the card and then cut it out. And now I'm using this acetate pad from We Are Memory Keepers. It has some fun dots and stripes. I'm going to use this kind of tealish blue-green stripe. And that's why I chose that pigment ink color for the greeting, because I wanted these greens to sort of match. So I'm going to cut this at a diagonal so that I can put it on the bottom of the card. So I'll just trim that down so it's the right size. And then I'm putting adhesive on the front of the card because I'm going to be sandwiching the acetate in between the card base and the stamped piece. And that's so that any of the adhesive for adhering the acetate won't be able to be seen. So I'm just going to close this card and leave the adhesive on the outside. and then position that acetate at the very bottom of the card and press down to adhere. Then I'll put a bunch of foam adhesive on the back of that stamped piece and put that directly down onto the card front. Next, I adhered that narrow strip of cardstock to the very bottom of the curved edge by running a light line of adhesive right along the edge. I used some Tombow Mono multi-glue for that, and then I pressed that black strip down on there, and then I opened the card up and used my scissors to trim off any of the excess of that little narrow strip. So super easy to add a little bit of detail. I then took my white gel pen, this is a Uniball Signo Broad white gel pen, and drew on some dash lines right along that black edge. This is just going to give a little bit of a detail, makes it look a little bit more finished. So at this point, this is when I realized I didn't like that craft color peeking through the acetate, and so I decided that I would cover it up by cutting a piece of white cardstock and just placing it on the inside of the card. So if you're going to recreate a card like this and you wanted it to be white, I would just use a white card base for this. I just was correcting my mistake and making it work for what I'd already done. So that is the card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Lots of fun stamping today. And thanks so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I have 3 more card videos ready to check out that are on the screen right now, and they all use acetate. Or in one case, I use a fuse tool and also a page protector. So it's just kind of fun ways to use any clear materials, and all 3 of these happen to be shaker cards as well. So if you want to check any of those out, go ahead and click on them on screen right now. You can visit my blog at kwarnerdesign.com. And once again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.